Welcome to Healthy Life. In for Dr. Timothy Johnson, I'm Dr. Holly Atkinson. As we approach the 9-year anniversary of the Columbine school shootings, violence in our schools is sadly all too common. Recently, a gunman took his own life and the lives of 6 others at Northern Illinois University. Here today to talk about new forms of school violence, the psychology of anger, and what parents should be looking out for to make sure their child is in good mental health is Jody Blanco, author of the best-selling memoirs, Please Stop Laughing at Me, and its sequel, Please Stop Laughing at Us. Jody, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Jody, tell us what the central message of your books are.
The central message is that bullying is not just joking around, that it damages you for life, and that everyone pays for that damage, not just the victim. And that bullying just isn't the cruel things you do, it's all the nice things you never do. That letting someone sit alone at lunch, never inviting someone to events or to parties, aggressively excluding someone can be a very damaging form of bullying because it makes the victim say to themselves, what's wrong with me? Now, and that unless we do this, we're going to have a problem in our schools if we don't start dealing with that form of bullying as well as the aggressive kind.
Now, this came out of your own experience, Jody. You wrote these books because of your own experience. Tell us briefly your story.
From 5th grade through the end of high school, I was tormented for the same reason so many other kids are today, simply for being different. I didn't follow the crowd. I was spitballed, slammed into lockers, invited to parties that didn't exist just to be made fun of standing in an empty parking lot. I mean, day after day, year after year. And I have to say that I tried to sneak a butcher knife into my book bag one day to cut out the hearts of my classmates who were hurting mine. And if my mom wouldn't have found that knife, to this day, I believed I was desperate enough that I would have used it.
So this is about rage and anger that builds over time.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is that everybody thinks these school violence events are about rage towards others, rage towards your classmates. But the reality is, your classmates make you hate yourself. They make you think you're worthless, and so you strike out because you hate yourself and you hate them for making you loathe yourself. It's about self-loathing.
Jody, what are some of the warning signs that parents can watch for, either for their kids being bullied or being bullies themselves?
The warning signs of a victim are lethargy, inexplicable fits of rage, faking illness, and another big one, getting sick all the time. Bullied kids actually will themselves sick. They expose themselves to colds and flus. They want to be sick to avoid school. And another major warning sign that so many parents miss. Not just a sudden decrease in grades, but a sudden increase in grades could also signify a problem because many isolated, lonely students immerse themselves in grades, and then when their grades go up and they're still lonely, their emotional state even worsens.
Jody, do you think the mental health community is handling this situation in the right way, or could they be doing something very different to help prevent some of these tragic events?
I think their intentions are in the right place, but I think that there's a certain naivety here. Number one, I was diagnosed several years ago with post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the wounds I sustained at the hands of my peers. There are so many other adult survivors of peer abuse running our corporations, running our schools, who are still impacted by what happened to them when they were students. And I think the mental health community isn't dealing with adult survivors. We're looking at students currently, but we've got adult survivors as teachers and principals and administrators, and we've got to help everyone impacted by school bullying, the current students and the adults who are still the walking wounded.
Well, Jody, we just have a few moments left, but I want to end on this note. You mentioned current students. What message do you have for students out there right now who are being bullied? What do you have to say to them?
There's nothing wrong with you. It's everything that's right about you that makes you a target. And don't change for anyone or feel you need to change, but seek support. Turn to a parent, a counselor, the parent of a friend. Don't tackle this alone because you think you're faulty. It's those who are hurting you who are at fault. Seek the help because you've earned it and
Jody.
you deserve it and you're good.
Jody, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your work on this issue. It's very important.
Thank you so much for welcoming me.